Can you hear me? No, good? Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks. I want to start out by saying thank you to Father Mark, Mother Karen, and Father Bob for giving up their space today to give me the opportunity to speak to you. So I have to tell you, when I was getting ready to do this, I was going to have you all stand up, and we were going to start off with the first verse of the Hokey Pokey. And the reason why I was going to start it that way was because I wanted you to be as uncomfortable as I am right now. Then I also thought, maybe I should just have you stand up and I would have you turn around to somebody you didn't know and tell them how much you got back or paid into taxes. But then I thought, well, that would make you as uncomfortable as I am again, standing up here. So that's how I wanted to start this out today, is letting you know that this is a little uncomfortable for me. I public spoke a lot, and some of you have probably heard me speak at different gatherings, and this was totally different for me. So, a little background on myself. I grew up in Superior, Nebraska, in a large Catholic family. My mom is one of 12 children, and I have 52 first cousins on my mom's side. We attended church every Sunday. I went to catechism until I graduated high school. I sat in pews, just like you're doing. I listened to sermons, and I never once opened up a Bible. As I grew older, I moved away from the Catholic Church, as how could I follow a religion that did not support who I chose to love? Finding the Episcopal Church was a godsend for me. Kath and I came to this church because a friend of ours had passed away, and his funeral was here. I remember sitting through his funeral, listening to Father Kelsey, hearing familiar faces, and feeling welcomed to be in this wonderful church. I remember leaving and telling Kath that I wanted to attend a Sunday service. We came back that next Sunday and have never left. All of you are the most welcoming people I have ever met. And this church family just felt comfortable. Fast forward now, 3 years, 3+ years, and I'm standing in front of you today with the notion that I'm supposed to teach you something about God, or Jesus, the Holy Spirit, or the Bible. Remember, I told you earlier, reading the Bible was not something I was accustomed to. So to take on this sermon has been and was a huge learning experience for me. I want to start out by asking the question, how do you think people identify you? Is it by your smile, your quick wit, the job you have, the way you make them feel when you are around them, something you've said to them, or something else? How do you identify people? Maybe there are people you know who, when you see them, you are instantly sad. Or they make you upset, or they make you feel wonderful. As most of you know, I'm getting ready to retire from the Nebraska State Patrol. After 28 years, and I've been reflecting about when people identify me, do they think I've done my job well? When I spoke with people, did they know they mattered to me and I cared about what was going on in their lives? Or did they just see me as another cop? As I turned my uniforms and all of my equipment in this last Thursday, I can honestly tell you, I felt a little naked. Like a part of my identity and how people identify with me had vanished. Has that ever happened to any of you? Do you worry about how people identify you? So fast forward to the reading today in the gospel. The reading of John starts out with, Jesus said, "If you love me, will you keep my commandments?" Now I'm thinking to myself, did I read that wrong? I did not identify the word commandments with Jesus. From what I recalled of my minimal reading of the Bible, God provided Moses with the 10 Commandments, and this was way before Jesus came to our world. So I researched this to make sure I was correct, and I learned the 10 Commandments were written by God upon 2 tablets of stone and then given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Most scholars date this event around the 13th or 14th century BC. God gave the Decalogue, or 10 Commandments, to the Israelites shortly before they left Egypt. So what commandments is Jesus talking about or identifying with? So as I thought some more, I did recall that there were the 2 greatest commandments Jesus talked about, and they're from Matthew 22. And Jesus is asked, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments." So as I sat and pondered about the phrase, "If you love me, keep my commandments," I just kept thinking to myself, there has to be more than these 2 greatest commandments or the 10 commandments that God provided to Moses. What else was Jesus talking about? Well, thank God for Google. Because when I Googled, what are the commandments of Jesus, I was astonished to learn that people that have studied the Bible, maybe not one of them, that Jesus has provided roughly 50 general commandments. I had no idea. Never in my time in attending church do I recall someone speaking about these 50 general commandments. For some of you, this may be old news, and I'm sorry if it is. But for others, I'm hopeful that you're as amazed as I am that in his readings, there are at least 50 general commands. These commands define how we can align ourselves with the laws that govern our physical and moral parts of our lives. And there are incredible promises given to us who practice these 50 commands. These promises include God will reveal himself to us. God will dwell in us. Christ will be our friend. You will receive God's love. You will genuinely love others. Your prayers will be answered. You will have true joy and peace, and you will be purified. So I'm looking at this list of 50, and there's no way that you guys would want me to stand up here and talk for 30 minutes, but I did pick out a handful of those 50 general commandments that I wanted to research and share with you today. I've also left down in the entryway all 50 in a handout, so that when you leave, you can take them and look at them for yourselves. So let's talk about 10 of them. We're going to talk about a fifth of them. The first one is be reconciled. 1 From Matthew 5, he says, therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar, go and reconcile to them. Then come and offer your gift. My takeaway from that is value people more than things. The second is keep your word. From Matthew 5, he says all you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. My takeaway on that is understand the power of words and expectations. Use them wisely and follow through. Judge not. From Matthew 1. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Learn to see others clearly. Ask, seek, and knock. From Matthew 7. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And the one who knocks, the door will be opened. The universe rewards perseverance. And if you persist, you will be rewarded. Do unto others. Matthew 7. So in everything, do to others what you have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. In layman's terms, practice humanity and treating others like you would want to be treated. Honor your parents. Matthew 15, for God said, honor your father and mother, and anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death. I think that says recognize and appreciate those who have helped you grow. Repent. From Matthew 4 says, from that time on Jesus began to preach, repent, for the kingdom of heaven has come near. Our behavior should agree with the things Jesus is teaching. Let your light shine. From Matthew 5. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. I think that's saying, let your good works speak more loudly than your good words. Be a servant. In Matthew 20, he says, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And I think we can take away from that leadership starts by leading yourself and being able to do for others what they cannot do for themselves. And the last one I'll share with you is follow me, from Matthew 19. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. We all need to follow Jesus' principles of love. So value people more than things. Understand the power of words and expectations. Use them wisely and follow through. Learn to see people clearly. The universe rewards perseverance, and if you persist, you shall be rewarded. Practice humanity and treating others like you would want to be treated. Recognize and appreciate those who have helped you grow. Our behavior should agree with the things Jesus is teaching. Let your good works speak more loudly than your good words. Leadership starts by leading yourself and being able to do for others what they cannot do for themselves. And we're going to follow Jesus' principles of love. When I looked at that list, I'm thinking, how do I keep and or honor 50 of these commandments that Jesus provided each and every day? And what I can tell you is, for me, I'll be keeping this list in a place where I can see it as a daily reminder of how Jesus wants and expects me to live. I'm going to think about the meanings in my life and think about their meanings on my life and meditate about them. And I'm going to work toward following in Jesus' footsteps. Jesus continued to say in our gospel today, "They who have my commandments and keep them are those who love me, and those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and reveal myself to them." Does this not sound like where we need to take our spirituality today to make a difference in this, our parish, our community, our country, and the world? I am hopeful that when people meet me, talk with me, and get to know me, they identify a person who is living at least some of Jesus' commandments. And this is my hope for all of you as well. Following in the footsteps of Christ, showing love, patience, compassion, and understanding for all. Good luck in following the 50 commandments of Jesus. Amen.